What's going on? All right, so check it out. You clicked on this video because you want to know how to level your yard with topsoil. Now I have a first-hand experience with this. This spring here in Germany, I just executed a full renovation. And that's exactly what I did. I leveled everything off with topsoil. And I learned some things, a few different things. And I want to share them with you so you don't have to go through what I went through. So let's jump into the first step, which is most likely necessary for you after you cut it down to the lowest possible height. Then you're going to want to clean things up a bit. I choose to do it this way. Power raking. So this is a really good example of the crap that you want to make sure is removed from the yard. You know, if you just put soil right on top of this, you're just creating a nasty, thick thatch layer. It's really important for you to get soil to soil contact, much like seed to soil contact. So once we get finished cleaning this up, we can move on to the next step, which is actually just putting the soil out. I have quite a bit of trenching holes from some mold activity. I had a lot of algae in here, especially on the edges of all of the concrete slabs that were here. And I just really took my time. I went over this about 3-4 times. And it's important for you to take the time to do this in the beginning, because you don't want to skip this and then have problems down here when it comes to your new seed establishing. So the next step is pretty simple. Now I truly hope you don't go through what I went through when it comes to having to sift soil. I had to make this. You may find yourself needing to make a homemade sifter of some sort. All I did was take some panels of wood, measured them out. And one thing that I did a little different that you won't see most people doing is I left this clearing completely open. And what that allows me to do is sift and dump the debris, just slide it straight off. You know what I mean? So I don't have to necessarily flip the whole thing every single time. It just slides off really, really easy. So the level of screening you're going to look for is, if you're in America, I got these. These are 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch chicken wire. They call them a few different things, but you know what that is. And if you're here in Europe, you want it to be, what's that translation into, like 6 millimeters or something? You want it screened to at least 6 millimeters, 6 by 6 millimeters, and you'll be okay. You'll be in a good place for what we're trying to achieve here. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna go ahead and sift this out, and then I'll show you how we smooth it out and get it leveled in preparation for the seed that we're gonna be putting in here in a couple weeks. All right, let's get it. All right, so it's really just that easy. No magic tricks, just a little bit of hard work and dedication. And this is a much better example of the versatility of both of these tools. With the landscaping rake, it's really easy for me to just spread out my material, get it kind of nice and even, and then come back behind with the lawn leveling tool from Landsy and make sure it gets worked into those crevices nice and even. So another thing worth mentioning is if you don't have a lawn leveling rake or it's not quite in the budget right now, you can always use a broom. You know, most everyone has a outdoors push broom, so you can use that to work the material in. And then addressing spots that will settle over time. There's two ways of going about that. You can get you a roller, which I use for the majority of my complete full renovation, but it's not completely necessary. If you time this out right, which that's part of the reason why I'm starting so soon, it's July, but if you time this out right, you can allow it to seek its own level, save some material, put some to the side, allow it to get watered in, whether you use some sprinklers or you just let Mother Nature take care of it for you, and it will find its own level. You can also encourage it by walking over it and then just piling a little extra product and materials on top of those areas that have a pretty dramatic depth to it, this is a pretty good example right here. So these spots right here, these two piles that I have along here, I purposely left them because, let me see if I can show you a pretty good example of this. You see how the teeth of this landscaping rake is not quite touching the bottom. It's kind of just gliding over this section, right? So we did this 2 days ago and I purposely waited, stopped the video, came back to you. So now at this point, I have this pile over here that I can pull onto that. So I purposely let it sit. It settled this much in 2 days. And now I can just take this rake, which is why I love this tool, I really do. Take this rake and look at that, voila. And it will find its level again. And now, it has found its own level again, its true level. Now, will this sink a little bit more? Probably. So if you want to, you can leave a little bit more material than you think you may need. But again, if you just put a little bit of material to the side and start this project with about 2 to 3 weeks to spare from your renovation, most people doing cool seasons lawns, you're gonna start overseeding somewhere in September, Labor Day. That's when I always did it. So if you started this process in like August, you'll be in good shape. Especially if you have this much correction to do in the leveling process. Go ahead and take 3 months of looking shaggy and your neighbors looking at you crazy like mine are for perfection in the fall to come into the spring like a brand new kid. All right, let's finish this up. Really, I just want to stress to you, allow it the time to settle. Allow it the time to settle and add more material in places that you see fit, depending on what is acceptable for you, wherever your standards are with this. You can just keep doing this as many times as you want to. Now, as far as sand, we'll get into that on the next video. Also, if you want to see this entirety, make sure you're following along because we will be doing overseeding, and it's just really not going to be much to it. But if you want to see the results of all this, you know, hang around. And we'll also be doing sand leveling in the back because I finally got my sand delivered yeah, and that was a pleasant experience. We'll talk all about that next time. All right, catch you later. Peace.